Hello, storytellers. Welcome back to Storytelling Tarot. This is Jada K. Story, and I'm so excited to have you with us today. We are looking at something very special, something very near and dear to my heart. I am excited because we are looking at the love notes from your inner child. If you've been around for a little while here on the channel, then you may have remembered that I have done love notes from your ancestors, your spirit team, and I've done love notes from your inner teenager. And today we are looking at little you, baby you. So as you can see from the table, I have some toys and some arts and crafts supplies to kind of, urge and coax your inner child to come out and play for just a little bit. And we're going to time travel a little bit and gain some insight from our little ones that are on the inside of us. Now, this is going to be a short and sweet reading because I think that the messages today are going to be very direct and to the point, just like little ones tend to be. But I'm excited to glean from the wisdom, the ancestral knowledge and knowing that comes from our inner children. So I'm really excited to get into this with you today. So, as always, we have 3 chapters that you can choose from. We have chapter 1, the blue block. Chapter 2 will be the markers, and chapter 3 will be the race car. So whichever one of these is calling to you, that will be your chapter and your reading. But I always say if there is more than one object that's calling to you, then you may have more than one message. And I encourage you to watch as many as you need. Once again, I thank you so much for clicking on this video. And without further ado, check the timestamps in the description box and I will see you over at your reading. Hey, chapter 1, welcome to your love notes from your inner child. This is your reading, and this means that you have chosen the blue block. We're going to put that over to the side for just a moment here. And we're going to get into some messages for you. We're going to see what are your opening messages. We're going to get a couple of oracle cards before we jump into the tarot. Let's see what your opening messages are from your inner child for you. This one is calling to me. Let's get one more. This one here. Yeah. Okay, let's see. You have Creator Water and you are light. It's already apparent to me that everyone in this group is some type of creative. We all have creativity. We all have ways that we make sense of the world. But the message from your inner child is that you create best through the mode of water, through the tool and the element of water. So that means that you are very emotional, chapter 1. That you create things of meaning through feeling and connection and relationships. And that's a beautiful, beautiful trait to have. It's actually one of your strengths. And then your inner child is here to say that you are light. Not only do you embody water and flow and sensuality and fun, right? You also have a lot of passion. You have a lot of great ideas, some that are yet to be pursued, but you think about them. And so your inner child wants you to know that you are the light. You may have a lot of great ideas and a lot of things that you are working on now, but you are actually the point of it all. And the way that you create and generate art and love and peace comes from your heart space with this Creator Water card. What I really just saw was like children running through the sprinklers or like playing in puddles or in the rain. There's a lightheartedness with this Creator Water that you have. So there's something about spontaneity and fun that is coming up from your inner child that they are wanting you to indulge in more. I love that. All right, let's see. Let's get some tarot cards out here and see what other messages they have for you. I'm going to get like 3 tarot cards. For some short and sweet messages from your inner child. Calling on the inner children, all of those in chapter 1. That one. What messages do you have? This one? Okay. Oh, and this one. All right. You have Temperance, Five of Wands, and Judgment. What I'm getting from this off the bat is your inner child doesn't want you to take everything so seriously. Like if you have the all work, no play mentality, your inner child is like, when do we get to have fun? When do we get to have a good time? Because everything feels so tense. The Temperance card is asking for moderation. And Five of Wands, even though that can be a bit of a contentious card sometimes, what I'm getting right here is that there's also a playfulness about the Five of Wands. And what if everything is not all about training or competition, but what if it's about playing games with friends, running around in the backyard? Because judgment is here. And judgment does speak to us about like moving into not just the unknown, but into the deeper spaces and places that are calling to us. Moving through a portal that will change everything. And so if you're going to move toward that moment, that reckoning, that awakening, how can you introduce some type of lightheartedness so that you don't end up falling into the trap of being overly critical, of being too rigid? What would happen if you walk through the door of judgment with the knowing that you are the light? That you're not just walking through this portal because it has pretty colors and, this is about to be the next best thing that's going to change my life. But rather, when I walk through this door, I can change my own life because I carry the spark. I carry the magic. And that's what your inner child wants you to know. Like, you are what's special. There may be opportunities coming your way. There may be amazing things for you to experience, but they're happening to you because you drew them in. It's like a moth to a flame. And so maybe then it'll be easier to just kind of ease into those experiences, to then walk that path because it's something that you've been desiring for yourself the whole time. Now, ironically, while I'm doing this reading, my children are playing downstairs. So if you hear yelling or laughter, that would be the little ones. And that's actually quite fitting. Okay, my chapter ones. I now want to look at, I'm going to get some more oracle cards. I want to look at something you're doing now as an adult that your inner child, like they admire, that they love. And you've grown into this person. You're doing these things. Let's see what your inner child thinks. What it is that you're doing that stands out to them. Let's go with this one and that one there. All right, so you have shadow and get creative. Yeah. Your inner child is proud of the way that you have handled the parts of yourself that may be difficult to look at. We're talking about the shadow. We're talking about the parts of yourself that you've had to become, parts of you that may have gone neglected, unheard, unseen, unsought. And it feels like they are appreciating the fact that you have done the shadow work of acknowledging and beginning to really heal and hold yourself. And as a result of that, it feels like your creativity can then fly. You see how this shadow card, it looks like a bat. But this creative card looks like eagle's wings and like a little like butterfly or whatever this is in the center. But it looks like there's some type of change that happens. They're very similar images, but there is some type of transformation. As you go through dealing with the shadowy parts, it kind of reminds me a little bit even of this temperance card. how we can see the balance, we can see the stretching between two worlds, right? And if you reach all the way back, and all the way forward, those words are from a prayer that my friend and sister Sarah McKeever Days wrote. But if you reach back and reach forward to heal and hold your shadows and your inner child, and reaching out forward to the future iterations of yourself, you are dead center, bringing them in close to where you are now in time, not forsaking anyone, but holding all of you together. Recognizing that this is actually fueling your creativity. This is actually a part of who you are. It makes sense that you're coming through as the creator who works with water, connection, love, wonder, whimsy, spirit. And your inner child really loves that about you. Okay, so we're going to get a couple of more cards here. I'm going to get the tarot back out. And I want to ask a couple of things here. I want to ask what makes your inner child most happy? You make your inner child most happy when you, look at that, Child of Wands, when you explore. And this goes back to you being light. You are light. And so when you see yourself as the light, when you walk as the light, when you explore, and when you go out and discover what's out there for you, discover more parts of yourself that light you up, when you discover other people who can, add their flame to your flame, and together you become like, almost like the fire in this Temperance card, you become like this wildfire, this beautiful connection, this beautiful burning. But it all starts from that first strike of the match. And so when you're honoring yourself and your curiosities, you are making your inner child so happy. Because then you're not taking yourself so seriously. Yeah. So then, one final question. Actually, I think I want to ask, let's get another card for what it is. What else makes them happy? Oh, when you are in relationships, you're the Ten of Cups. And when you are in relationships where you are experiencing belonging. Earlier, I talked about with the shadow, where the shadow can speak to being feeling unseen and unsought in ways. That's the shadow selves. But what makes them happy is that you have love around you, chapter 1. You have people around you. And just as I was just talking about, like when the flame comes together, here we have all of these different colored water coming together and forming this beautiful mural, this beautiful mixture of experiences and life and gifts, and making it one beautiful motif, one beautiful picture. You have a lot of that going on in your spread, even with this Judgment card. And so for some of you, maybe you are entering into new relationships and new connections. And that's that portal of judgment. That's the reckoning of you finding a place where you belong now. And this is what is exciting to your inner child. Wow. I love that. What I'm hearing is, Rihanna, we found love in a hopeless place. That's what it seems like your inner child is singing to you. We found love in a hopeless place. And I think that they're excited that happened for you and for them. So I'm just going to close this with one final question. What is it that your inner child is most excited for you to do next? Let's see. What is your inner child excited for you to do next? This is the one. The warrior. The warrior is talking about you fighting for what you believe in. You standing up and being brave in the face of danger, in the face of opposition. There's something about your courage here. There's something about your strength. You having a voice And you also have in a position of power. And that excites your inner child, especially if when you were younger, you felt like you needed a warrior, or you needed an advocate. Your inner child is saying, oh, now we can be that. In fact, we already are that. And I talked about this earlier with the Five of Wands, that card can be a card of training, but it can also be fun, but it is still a card of preparation. And so what is the next step for you, chapter 1? You're about to walk through that judgment portal. And as you are going on your way, your inner child wants you to be proud of yourself for how you have done the deep digging and not allowed any of the darkness, any of the difficult times to dim your light. In fact, it has strengthened your light, and now they're ready for you to be seen and known as a mighty warrior. All right, my chapter 1s, I hope this was helpful for you. I wish you and your inner children a wonderful day. I'll see you next time. Hey, chapter 2, welcome to your Love Notes reading from your inner child. You have chosen the color markers. I'm just going to push these off to the side. So I don't know how many of y'all are artists, writers, cartoonists. Y'all got a creative vibe going on, and I love that. All right, so we're going to start with some oracle cards. I'm going to get 2 cards for some initial messages from your inner child to you, something that they think, keep going, something that they think you need to know right now. Calling on the inner children for those who are in chapter 2. What are the initial messages? All right, I'm going to start with those. Let's see, you are epic. Lead your metamorphosis. Your inner children want you to know you are a big deal, chapter 2. You are a big deal. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. You are a big deal. And lead your metamorphosis is speaking about you participating in the changes coming up in your life. You don't have to just let things happen to you. You can actually affect the change. Is almost like the tower when it's reversed. Like things may be crumbling or seem like they're crumbling around you, but when the tower is reversed, it is you who's taking it brick by brick and taking down those structures and restrictions so you can start over. But the first affirmation is that you're epic. You're major, astronomical, phenomenal, magnificent. You are all of that. And your inner child is like screaming that at you right now. You need to know that. And because of that, that is what will fuel you. That ego push, will help you make the changes that you want to see in your life. All right, so let's get some more from your inner child. Let's get some tarot cards out here. Just some messages. I'm going to pull like 3 cards. What messages do the inner children, all of those in chapter 2, what do they have to share? Ooh. This one was calling out at me. This one too. This one? No. One more though. There's one more. One more message. One more message from the inner children. All of those in chapter 2. Let's go with that one. All right. There's this message here. Look, I just turned over the 5 of Swords, but before I even get into it, there's a message here about you being selfish, needing to be a little bit more selfish, chapter 2. You know how typically we tell children they need to share. You have to share your toys and, there's something about you needing to have more autonomy and being able to say no. Children, that's one of their favorite words. When you first learn a word, no is usually one of the first ones. After, mama, dad, no. And they say it with such force and such conviction. But there's something powerful about your no, chapter 2, that your inner child wants you to know about. And just as powerful as your no is, that is also how powerful your yes is. There is a need for you to practice that autonomy and be more choosy about who you say no to. And, or I should say, be choosy about who you say yes to and be more discerning about when you should say no. Those are the first messages that I'm just channeling. And then you have the Five of Swords. And the Five of Swords is very much so about being ruthless with your yes or your no, right? There can only be one winner in the Five of Swords. And so your inner child is saying it should be you. You're epic. And I know that the Five of Swords can be a little bit of a contentious card. It can speak about, fights and contention and arguments. But in this card, there's nobody else here but the winner. We can assume that there are others, but there's snow here and there's not even any footsteps in the snow. Maybe there were other birds that flew away, but there's no sight of anyone here. And so it feels like for you, the yeses and the nos have to start with you and your need to be honest with yourself when there's nobody around. All right, let's see what else your inner child wants you to say. Look at that. When I said standing on your own, we have the Nine of Pentacles and the Eight of Cups. Well, there it is, y'all. Your inner child, again, that autonomy, that you should be standing on your own, the Nine of Pentacles. And you should be able to go where you want to go and do what you want to do with the Eight of Cups when you feel like it's time. Remember, this card says lead your metamorphosis and that you are epic. And if you are epic, that means that you have epic things to experience. You have epic opportunities waiting for you. You just have to be choosy about those yeses and nos. Be unafraid to stand on your own and shine, and then move when you feel called. Oh, I love that. All right, so we're going to pull some oracle cards. And we're going to look at what your inner child has to say about the person you've grown up into. What do they admire most about the adult that you've grown into? I'm going to get 2 oracle cards for this one. This one? Okay. Let's see. You have the Magi. Soul work. Ooh. Your inner children. This is going back to the Magician. This is going back to you being like in your own power. This is back to you being epic. They love what you've been able to conjure and make happen for yourself. The life that you're living, you've done it on your own. You have. And you have been able to, make impossible things happen. Things that as a child, maybe you never saw for yourself, but you were able to do it. And your inner child is just marveling at that. And then also you've been doing this soul work. You've been digging down deep. You have already, in some ways, leading your metamorphosis. And so it feels like the work that you've been doing internally is about to begin to manifest externally with different areas of your life. And your inner child is like, oh my gosh, look at us go. Look at us go. We're doing it. We're doing it. Oh, y'all almost started crying just then. That's powerful when you think about it. To see yourself as you were in your childhood and to see yourself in all of your glory now. If you were to sit in a room with your inner child, these are the things they'd be saying about you, chapter 2. Oh, they're so proud of you. So I want to ask now, what are the things that they're proud of? What are the things specifically, what are the things that they think you should be proud of? That's what I want to know. The things that they think you should be bragging about more. You have the 7 of Pentacles and the 2 of Cups. So with the 7 of Pentacles, they think you should be proud of your success. And the Seven of Pentacles, like, isn't necessarily a success card, but it is a card about progress. And so that means that there's continual growth. And so they want you to be proud of that. They think you should give yourself more credit, is what I'm hearing. Give yourself more credit. They're also talking about, and this actually came up in chapter 1 as well, but they're also talking about you being happy about the relationships in your life, the way that you have been in control of yourself when it comes to relationships. You have not been tossed to and fro, but your heart has been balanced and been held. Not only by others, but you've been holding yourself. You've been letting your ancestors hold you. You've been letting yourself be held. That's a strength. And they're saying you should be so proud. You should brag about that. And so the soul work feels like it has infiltrated your love life and your self-love life and your friendships. Because I see progress in all of those areas of your life, chapter 2. And your inner child is like, look at us. Loving and being loved. And look at us walking away from what doesn't feel right. Because we know what it feels like to be loved well. And we're not going to settle. Look at us. So I'm going to close this reading with one final message. I want to know from your inner child. Yeah, I'm going to ask. I think I skipped a question, but a question that I want to. So then pull 2 more cards. One, I'm going to ask, what is something that you're doing that makes your inner child happy? 4 of Swords. When you take a break, when you honor your capacity, when you remember them, when you remember yourself, when you include them, that's what makes them happy. They don't want to be forgotten. And all of your doing and all of your growing, they want you to remember the baby that you used to be. And the final card we're going to pull is, what is your inner child most excited about you doing next? What's the next thing they're most excited? That's the one. The creator. They're excited to see what you create next. They're excited to see what you build next. They're excited to see you at your next speaking engagement. They're ready to see you write the book. They're ready for you to create the project. They're ready for you to lead the team. They're ready for you to give the speech and to teach the class and whatever it is that you're doing. They just want you, they see you, like I just saw it was like fairy godmother with his wand. They see you as like the fairy godmother who could do anything. All you had to do was just believe, and it's possible because you have the wand in your hand. You're magical. And so honestly, it feels like your inner child is like, I don't care what we do as long as we do it together. As long as you lead the way and trust yourself, then I know that I'm in good hands. All right, my chapter 2s, I hope that this was good to you. I wish you and all your inner children a wonderful day. We'll see you next time. Hey, chapter 3, welcome to your love notes from your inner child reading. You have chosen the race card. So we're going to put this bad boy to the side. Where y'all going, chapter 3? Y'all going places, huh? Because this card has places to be, and so do you. Where is it that you are going and taking your inner child with you? Just feels like y'all are making moves right now. All right, so these are some oracle cards. We're going to just see what your initial messages are from your inner child, and we're going to get into the tarot. Your inner child wants to know, what do you really want, and what's your honest truth? Ooh, you are the only group where the inner child asks questions. What do you really want, and what is your honest truth? So what this is making me think of is Your inner child is getting down to your why. Chapter 3. Your why. So I don't know if you may have had a tendency of people pleasing or seeking approval or going along to get along, maybe going the way of least resistance. But your inner child is like really calling you out a little bit and asking, what do you really want to do in this moment? Where do you want to go? We talked about going places. Is the route that you're currently on what is honoring to you? Is it leading you on the path that you really want to go down? Or is it just what's expected or what's easiest or what will keep people from judging you or asking you too many questions? All right, so we're going to let that kind of simmer. So now I want to get the tarot. I want to ask for some general messages from your inner child to you. All right. Let's get 3 tarot cards. Calling on the inner children. All of those in chapter 3. Ooh, okay. This one. What messages do you have to share with us today? This one. Okay, and it's at the top one too. So we're going to do 4. Move that over so we can make space. Okay, so you have the 3 of Swords, the Child of Swords, the 6 of Swords, and the Explorer of Pentacles. Going to do a little overlap. Okay, so lots of swords. The first thing that's jumping out at me is with the 3 of Swords here, there's been a lot of people who, if it feels like, I'm sorry, that's really not in frame. It feels like chapter 3 with this 3 of Swords, like people making you feel bad about the things you want to do. People making you feel bad about the decisions that you're making and the path that you're on. And as a result, you see the Child of Swords, you see how the little bird is just kind of like kneeling down, like they're bowing to the pain. They're paying so much attention to the pain that they are missing out on the truth that's available, the power that they wield. And your inner child is saying it's time for you to think about these questions. What do you want and what is the truth? Because a lot of times with the 3 of Swords, yes, it can be painful truth, but sometimes it can be other people's stuff that their own pain that they leave us to deal with the repercussions. They hand us these swords, or they use these swords, these words and these thoughts and opinions, these stories that hurt us, that limit us, that cut us down. And a lot of times those words have little to do with us, have everything to do with the person who spews them at you. And your inner child is saying, it's time to heal from this, to move on. That's why the 6 of Swords is here. It's time to move forward out of winter and into your next season. Moving through and moving beyond the pain. All those narratives, those tense conversations, those beliefs that you have to, again, go the path of least resistance in order to be loved, in order to be accepted. But now look at who you can be. You can come out of hibernation and begin to explore. You then become the Knight of Pentacles, moving away from the weapons that have harmed you. And now you can move into the work of healing, into the work of doing what feels right and aligned to you. And it's time for that. Because as you start to answer the questions of what your honest truth is, that's going to be the fuel that leads you forward. So let's see. I want to ask your inner child. I want to ask what they love most about you as an adult. Get 2 oracle cards for that. What they love most about who you are as an adult. This one. No, this one. Okay. We have the creator and play. I love this because as an adult, they're saying that there's so much in you that's not just this, right? This is part of it, but there's something in you that's playful. There's something in you that's creative. And it lives even as you're moving through your own healing, chapter 3. It lives. That's a part of this race card. That's a part of you moving forward. This is what's pushing you there and helping you get there. So this is what they love about you as an adult. It's like, oh no, you still know how to play. You still know how to access me as your inner child through play. For some of y'all, it's interesting. What's coming up is like kink and BDSM. And I think about like age play and how we can actually heal specifically our inner teenagers. And so the creative ways that you are engaging in play as a means for you to heal your inner child applauds you for doing that. Applauds you for finding ways to laugh and enjoy life because you deserve that. Okay, so let's see what your inner child thinks that you should brag about more. Like, what should you be more proud of? Like, there's some things about you that you should brag about more. Let's see what they think they are for you. 6 of Cups and the Magician. Yeah. 6 of Cups and the Magician. They love the power that you command. And also, whatever you're committed to, you are in that thing. The 6 of Cups can speak about a soulful connection, right? I don't know why, but I'm hearing the song, daydreaming and I'm thinking of you, daydreaming and I'm thinking of you. Like, now I know that's off key, but I'm thinking about that song because I'm thinking about the ways in which you are very like romantic and nostalgic. And I don't know if this is influencing like any of the work that you might be doing, if it has something to do with like ancestral connections, like something about going back into the past or doing something that you've always done, but there's something that hits you on a soul level. There's a connection. It could be a connection with others. It could be a connection with the divine. But it kind of feels like you have a particular spiritual gift. It doesn't have to be a spiritual gift. It could be like a different gift and sometimes something that you inherited from family. But you have a particular gift that's unique to you. That's like very different from others, specifically in your family. So like maybe you are like the standout. Maybe there's something about you that like maybe you are like the only person who doesn't go to church. Maybe you're someone who, you are part of an African traditional religion. Maybe you're the only hoodoo. Maybe you're the only diviner. Maybe you're the only vegan. Maybe there's something about you that like stands out apart from other people in your circle, in your family specifically. But whatever that thing is that sets you apart, your inner child wants you to like be proud of that thing and not to feel any shame, because that is what makes you unique. And it is a part of your ancestral story. Like that is the thing that one day your descendants will look back and will be looking at how to be in relationship with your spirit, because they will have that same gifting. And so there's definitely some type of strong ancestral thing happening that I'm seeing on the table with you. It may be that you have experienced some type of, for some of you, you may be the only outwardly queer person in your immediate family. You may be the only one who is living a certain gender expression that totally debunks and spits in the face of the binary. You may be the only one who is searching and seeking for liberation everywhere and anywhere you can find it, because you want to be free. Your inner child is saying, like, that's unique. Keep doing that. Again, the question is, what is your honest truth? Do that thing. All right, so I'm going to pull a couple more cards. One card I want to ask what you do that makes your inner child happy. So you make your inner child happy, my chapter 3s, when you, 8 of Cups, when you walk on the path less traveled and you stick out like a sore thumb and you are unafraid of their faces and voices and judgments. This makes your inner child so happy. Because when you do this, then you'll get to play without people judging you. Then you'll get to create with others who want you. You'll get to explore, and you get to do it at your own pace. Let's move this here. One final card for you, my chapter 3s. I want to know, what is your inner child excited about you doing next? What is your inner child excited about you doing next? Let's get one final card. Do we want this one? Daring to dream. Dreaming your own dream. Dreaming for yourself. Dreaming what makes you happy. You see how there's like a claw reaching down to pull this diamond that we can imagine was buried down someplace dark and deep, but you reach out and grab, pull up. It belongs to you, chapter 3. And your inner child is saying, yeah, you can go after it. You can get it. It's yours. Who's stopping you? What do you really want? What is your honest truth? And then how can you do the healing and the holding necessary to pursue it? All right, my chapter 3s, I hope this was helpful for you. I wish you and all of your inner children a lovely, lovely day. We'll see you in the next reading.